Hello everyone, my name is Fatoumata Sidibe and I'm here today with a video on self-image. I wanted to discuss this with you because I think it's a very important thing that we kind of sometimes we're oblivious to, and because it's very subconscious and we don't realize the power it has over our lives, the power it has over the way our life plays out, and the way it determines what we do and what we don't do. But before I go into the video, I just wanted to check on everyone watching. I hope you're all doing well in these COVID times. As you can see, like I said in my previous video, life has changed very quickly and we've had to adapt very quickly. And as such, I feel like it's really imminent that we look at things that are holding us back, so we can live the life of our dreams as quickly as possible, and have a fulfilling life. And yeah, so I thought I'd come to you with a series of videos mainly about self-image and self-belief, and also all the other things that we do or we don't do that hold us back. And these videos are mainly for people who find it very difficult to change, who find it very difficult to make a move onto what they really want, and they often feel stuck and they don't know why. They don't know why they have all these big dreams, and they're actually intelligent people, they're smart people, they often do a lot of personal development work, but the amount of work that they do doesn't match the change that they see in their lives, and so they tend to experience life in a very similar way. They meet similar kind of people, they are in similar circumstances, and they usually, even when when the people are different, like different faces, different races, it all comes down again to the same experience, which suggests that their life hasn't really changed, because their mentality hasn't changed, and also their self-image hasn't changed. And so yeah, I thought that let's have a discussion, or let's have a series of discussions about this thing that is very powerful, lurking behind our conscious minds, and most of us are not aware of it. And because we're not aware of it, we find it difficult to change our life and our life circumstances. All right, let me not ramble too much. So, what is self-image? Okay, so the self-image is simply the way you see yourself in your imagination. Everybody has this. Everybody sees themselves a certain way. And it's funny because oftentimes the way you see yourself in your imagination is very different from the way other people see you and how other people perceive you. And so oftentimes there's an incongruence between what people expect of you and what you actually do. And there's also an incongruence in the terms of what you want in your life, and the goals and the desires and dreams that you have in your life, and what you actually do to get those dreams. What happens is that if you see yourself as somebody who is supposed to have the dream that you say you want, then you will that's part of your self-image. Then you will move towards it very quickly. But if you're just saying it, but you really don't see yourself as someone who has that, or someone who that is possible for, someone that is someone that dream or that goal is a reality for, then you're never really going to move towards it, because in your mind you're saying it, but you're thinking, this is not really me. So this is why the self-image is very important. The self-image determines how you see life. It determines what you think is possible for you and what you think is real for you. And it also determines what you will do and how you do it. For instance, if I see myself as a person who likes sugar and has a sweet tooth and likes coffee, I'll be someone who wakes up in the morning and goes down and has a cup of coffee with maybe 2 spoons of sugar every day, which is what I do actually. But it's because that's how I see myself. I see myself as someone who likes sugar, who likes to take sugar, and so therefore I like sweets. Even though I try to stay away from them, but I often have this struggle. I often have this struggle of letting go of sweet things, even though I know consciously that they are not really good for me. But because I don't see myself as someone who's gonna stop eating sugar completely in my life, it's not really a reality for me yet. So yeah, I took some notes. So there are other examples of the self-image. And the reason why this is so really, really important for us to be aware of is your self-image is what will determine how your life plays out. I think I said this before. So it doesn't matter what you do on the outside. You can read all the books that you want, and often this is what happens. You read all the books that you have. You go to conferences. You can even do a lot of personal development work. But if you're not aware that you need to work on your self-image, work in terms of changing your self-image, changing it in terms of aligning it with what you want, you're still not going to be able to allow the thing that you want to be a reality for you. Let's say, for instance, you say you want to make $1 million, say in a year. If your self-image is that of someone who only earns like 5 figures, and what I mean by that is you see yourself as someone who only earns five figures, because you don't see yourself as someone who earns $1 million. Because someone who earns $1 million, their lifestyle is going to be different from someone who earns only 5 figures. So let's say, for instance, someone who is a millionaire is able to, let's say, travel, I don't know, maybe 5 times or more per year, internationally. They're able to live in a certain house or in a certain kind of mansion. They're able to buy things readily, expensive things readily. They don't have restrictions in that way. They are able to move with certain kind of people who are also maybe millionaires, and they think a certain way, and also they talk a certain way, and their lifestyle is just different from someone who only earns 5 figures. I'm not saying that 5 figures is a small amount. It is quite a lot, depending on where you live. But yeah, I'm just trying to create a relation between one lifestyle and the next. So for instance, if you're only earning five figures, then maybe you will be a little bit more careful about spending money, say, on a Lamborghini, because you're thinking, okay, maybe that's not a smart investment for me right now. Maybe you'll have a certain kind of lifestyle. You live in a certain kind of house. That's different from a house that someone who is a millionaire will live in. Oh, why am I looking over there? Also, if you earn 5 figures, perhaps you see yourself maybe going on maybe an expensive holiday, maybe just once a year, or maybe just twice a year, but maybe not more than that, because you're thinking of your image and all that. You're thinking of your income and all that. So if your image is, I'm a five-figure earning type of person, and that yet you say you want to earn $1 million, you have to understand that it's not just the $1 million that's going to change. Your entire lifestyle is going to change, and also your image is going to change. And so therefore, if your image is still that of a 5-figure per month earner, you're not going to allow yourself to become a millionaire, or to earn $1 million per year. Okay, so like maybe that's a far-fetched example, but maybe not. Let's look at something simpler that a lot of things have that I've always had, and that I still have to sort of an extent. I've always believed that I was not good at math, because when I was in school, I didn't really see that I was good in math, because maybe because I wasn't interested in it, or maybe I just had maybe because I didn't like the class, or maybe I didn't like the way the teacher taught it, or maybe the first two lessons I didn't really understand what the lesson was about. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I made up my mind that I'm not good at math, and so because I've made up my mind that I'm not good at math, and I did that like years and years ago, I still hold on to that belief that I'm not good at math. So I don't go to anything that surrounds maths and calculation and all that. I avoid it because in my mind I'm not good at math. But that's not really true. It's not really true because maybe at that point in my life, or maybe during that lesson, maybe I didn't like the way the teacher taught it, or maybe I wasn't understanding it simply because of just that one lesson. Or maybe I didn't really like the class, or it could be also because maybe the the tools that the teacher used were not to my liking. It could be a number of things. But the point I'm trying to make is just because that one event, or maybe one or two events happened, I've now taken those two events and made them real for me, and as part of my identity and as part of my image. I'll also give you another example. And so yeah, the point I'm saying is that it's not really true. I could be good at math if I actually tried a little bit harder. Because now I'm in a different circumstance, and I'm exposed to other things, better things. I'm exposed to, there are online courses. There's so much help. So if I wanted to be good at math, all I have to do is just change my perspective, and maybe take up courses, get someone to teach me, and then I'll find out that I'm actually good at math. So the other thing is people who believe that they're ugly. I know a lot of people can relate to this, or have experienced people who say they're ugly. And then when they say they're ugly, you look at them and you're like, why are they saying that? I don't see any ugliness in them. They're actually quite handsome, or they're actually quite beautiful. And, you would never categorize them as someone who is ugly. But in their mind, they don't see that. In their mind, they see themselves as ugly. And so, because they see themselves as ugly, it affects the way they live their lives. It affects how they live, how they are in relationships. Most of their insecurities are expressed because they feel that they're ugly. So it doesn't matter how much the partner says to them, you're beautiful, I love you, you're so pretty, you're so handsome. They don't believe that, because in their mind, they don't see that they are beautiful or they are handsome. And so this is how the self-image plays out. Another thing also is I'm not good at public speaking. I know there's a lot of people who also have this belief, because I think there was a survey done once in the US. I read that somewhere that in the survey it was said that the second biggest fear that people have is public speaking. The first one is death, and the second fear is public speaking. So you can see how much people fear public speaking. But this fear is not something that we are born with. And for me, for example, the reason why I always believed that I was never good at public speaking is because when I was in high school, the first time I think it was the first time, yeah. The first time I stood in front of the class and tried to answer a question, because that was the lesson about. The lesson was that you had to go and, if you wanted to answer the question, you had to go to the front of the class and answer it. So I jumped up in excitement. I knew what the answer was, and I was so excited. I jumped up and I went to the front of the class. to answer the question. And I just stood there and froze. I think I mumbled something out eventually, but then by the time I did that, the whole class erupted in laughter, and they just laughed at me and laughed at me, and laughed at me, and that became so entrenched in me. And I said to myself, I'm never going to do this again. And because of that, I avoided public speaking. And I made up in my mind that I'm not a good public speaker, because the first time I did it, people laughed at me. And so I feel like they laughed at my incompetence. They laughed at my inability to speak publicly. But that was not it. But that's what I made up in my mind. And so because I made that up in my mind, that is what determined my life in regards to public speaking. Whenever there's an event where I have to do public speaking, I avoid it. I will like, or I'll have serious anxiety before I actually do it. And because of that, there are certain things that I didn't move towards. Because of that too, in certain areas it affected my business, because in areas where I had to do public speaking to get people, to get clients and customers, when I avoided those events, when I knew that if I went to those events, I would get clients and I would get customers. When I didn't do that, I lost those customers just because of one event that happened years and years ago, like over 20 years ago. So this is the power the self-image has over people, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. We take one event and we form an image. We take that event and we use that to create an image. We add it to our identity, and it becomes part of who we are. But most of the things that we actually adopt as part of who we are complete nonsense. They're just things that we've adopted because that's what, as human beings, that's what we do. But most of them, we don't go back and look at them and see whether they are really real or whether they are really true. What the self-image does is it's trying to create a map of reality for you or for me. And because we live in this big wide world, there's so many realities. There's so many truths. There are so many. Yeah, that's what it is. There's so many realities. There's so many truths. There's so many things that are true for so many people. And so as an individual, we kind of have to like see what kind of reality we have to carve out so that we can create a reality within that. I don't know whether I'm explaining this well, but yeah, we have to create a reality for ourselves, for ourselves, so that we can be in that reality, so that we can live in that reality. Because it's difficult for human beings to take on all the realities that exist in the world. So oftentimes the realities that we create are based on the experiences that we had in the past, and the experiences that our caregivers and people that were around us had, and so we adopted those. And so most of the time, those experiences are not complete. They are not really true. But those are the experiences that we adopt, and we make them our self-image. And so yeah, this is why it's important. There's another example I also wanted to give. What is it? Yeah. This other example too is where you think you are shy and reserved. No one is born shy and reserved. If you look at babies, you will see that they are not shy and reserved at all. When a baby is born, as you know, before they get to when they become a toddler, they are not shy about what they want. They go for what they want. They don't look at anybody. They never have a bad hair. They're never shy about the way they look, about the way they are dressed. They don't hold back. They don't feel bad. They don't feel bad or guilty about asking their mom or their parents to wake up in the middle of the night to feed them. So no one's born shy or reserved. You become shy or reserved because of the people that live around you, and you look at the way they're acting, and you adopt that as part of your self-image. And also because of certain experiences that happen to you. And so then when you feel that you are a shy person, and you're a reserved person, then you are going to avoid anything that a shy person doesn't do, because that's your self-image. You think you're shy, and so therefore that shyness and that reservedness comes with all these other stereotypes, and because you see yourself as a shy person, you have to act like that. We also say these things like, I'm shy and reserved because my mother was shy and reserved. All of those things, or because my parents were shy and reserved. So all of those things build up your self-image. But they also have an impact on the things that you will do and on the things that you will not do. And oftentimes, the way our self-image works, especially for people that find it very, very hard to change, it's constricting. It doesn't allow you to do things differently so that you can move to a different reality, so that you can get to that dream you say you want. The general understanding for us is that we have to understand that if you say you want something else, if you say you want something that you've never had, let's say for instance now I'm a five-figure earner, five-figure per month earner, and I say I want to earn like say $1 million in 6 months. That's something that I've never had. If I want $1 million, if I want to earn $1 million in 6 months, then I have to be a different kind of person. I have to have a different self-image because my reality is going to change. And so therefore, that's why we have to work on the self-image first. Most of the time, what we do is we try to, take the courses, start the business, go get the clients and all that. But we forget that the self-image is gonna eventually kick in, and once it kicks in, once your willpower is just gonna say, okay, I can't do this. You're gonna sabotage yourself. You're not gonna do the things that you need to do to become that millionaire, to earn that $1 million in 6 months, because your self-image says that I am a five-figure per month earner. So therefore, this is not real for me. Even though that's what I said, but subconsciously, I don't really believe that this is real for me. And so this is why it's very, very important for us to work on our self-image. And there are quite a few exercises that can be done. If they are done consistently and they are done, consistently daily, then they can really, really change the way you see yourself. And once you change the way you see yourself, then your actions will adapt, and they will be long lasting. You will be able to create long lasting change. You will not be, creating a little bit of change, this month, and then next month you revert back to what you used to do, and you wonder why do I keep doing this? Why is that when I say I'm going to change, I do this thing for just 20 days and then I stop? That's because your self-image hasn't changed, and it's saying that no, this is not who we are. So it doesn't matter what you do outside, this is not who we are, and we're not going to do it. That's how powerful your self-image is. So I just wanted to give just some small snippets about this topic. I love this topic. It's a very, very it has a lot of potential if we really, really, as humanity, if we delve really deeply into this, we have a potential of changing our, our lives, and creating real global change. Because the self-image is not just an individual thing. A whole races of people have an image, and we can see that with different races and how they think about themselves, and how that affects the things that they do, how that affects the things that they don't do, how that affects how other people see them, and all these things. So it's a very, very crucial thing for us to all look at. All right, okay, so I think I'm going to stop here for now. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments. If you have any suggestions about what kind of videos you would like me to do, feel free to also put that in the comments. And if you have any suggestions about what you think about the self-image, and especially what are some of the things that you feel, what do you think your self-image is? And how do you think your self-image is holding you back, especially? Feel free to also put that in the comments. And I'm going to end the video by saying, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video. I always forget to say that. But yeah, that would be nice if you do that, and I'll be very, very thankful if you can. Without further ado, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely rest of the day wherever you are. Thank you. Bye-bye.